Nothing is true, everything is permitted. Why can't most religions be that fun? Assassin's Creed 3. Alright, so Assassin's Creed 3 is actually the 5th game in the main Assassin's Creed story arc, and in Assassin's Creed 3 you play as a new assassin named Connor. So Assassin's Creed 3 takes place in colonial America. Connor's half Native American, so you have that whole, the government's taking over Native American land, which is bad. So he wants to protect that and defend that, but the Templars are taking over, the government, so you can't have that. Thus, we enter a new chapter in the Assassin's Creed games. And is it an impressive chapter? For the most part, yeah, it really is. First of all, you have combat. Now, the combat in this game is all fleshed out. I had heard that they actually had combat tactics when you're fighting guys, so no more spam counters, which for the most part, that's actually accurate. I still spam counter. You will sit there for a solid minute waiting for a guy to attack you so you can just push the counter button and then kick his ass. If I can compare the combat in this game to any other game, I would compare it to Batman Arkham City. You're kicking the piss out of guys, you push your counter button, he will counter no matter what he's doing. You can kick the piss out of that guy too. You take on groups of 10 guys and just clean house. If you ever played Batman Arkham City and just kicked the living shit out of 10 guys and you were like, that would be really cool if Batman actually killed people. Here you go, Assassin's Creed 3. Take a tomahawk to their face. And not only is the combat really fun to do, but there are a lot of missions to do in this game. You only have 2 city zones in this game. You have Boston and New York. That was kind of a bummer. I wanted a little more. But you do have 2 wilderness zones, which sounds fun, and they have this whole hunting aspect in there, but ultimately you hunt animals for a little while and you take their pelts and you sell them and you're like, all right, well, let's just go back to killing people. That's right. We are so desensitized as a civilization that killing people is just a little more fun than killing bobcats and hunting squirrel. And if I'm going to touch on a bit of a bummer is it's colonial America, so the buildings really weren't that tall. Most of the buildings you're scouring across in this game are about 2 stories tall. It feels like a really trivial gripe, but I'm just saying in the other Assassin's Creed games where the buildings were enormous, you're now in the early stages of America. Buildings are a couple stories tall, so you usually just run through the streets. Feels like a bit of the Assassin's Creed vibe was just taken back a little bit, a bit nerfed. However, you get a ship in this game. It's a big pirate ship, and it is badass. That's right, ships like this, they get women's names that you can't name your ship. I think you should be able to, but you can't. I would have named mine Soul-Sucking Bitch, and it would be awesome. But when you're doing these naval missions and you're steering your big ship, you honestly feel like just being like, yo ho, a pirate's life for me. Not a pirate ship. I mean, you're a pretty legit human being in this game. You're not a pirate. That being said, you feel like a pirate, and that ain't bad. If they want to make expansions for Assassin's Creed 3, give me more naval combat, because yeah, the pirate's life, it is officially for me. And if you want to talk about some fun in Assassin's Creed 3, the multiplayer, that is some fun shit. You have your target, you are someone else's target, and you just have to blend in and not get killed in time to kill your target. They're doing the same thing, and so it's funny, everyone's trying to walk like NPCs and make like 90-degree turns, or just sit on benches and be really incognito until you see your target and you just beeline it and stab him in the back. Now, in terms of the story, Connor's a really cool character. I like Ezio the best, probably because Ezio's had a few games and a very large lifetime story. However, it's cool to see Connor go from this really young, brash dude to this badass by the end. It was cool to see him grow in the course of a game. I did feel that in Assassin's Creed 2, the first story with Ezio was still, he was badass by the end, but he was also still Ezio. He was still a coos hound. Who are we kidding? Connor at the end of Assassin's Creed 3 is not the same person he was when he was inducted as an assassin in Assassin's Creed 3. I like seeing that. I like character growth. I was hoping to interact with more historical figures. By that, I mean, I was really hoping that Thomas Jefferson was in this game because he's awesome. You do interact with a few historical figures, George Washington being one of them, Sam Adams, you interact with him because he has good beer. However, I'm just going to come out and say this, Haytham Kenway is one of the greatest characters I've ever played as in an Assassin's Creed game. I wouldn't mind an entire game being dedicated around him. He was all smarmy and cool. He was like if John Hamm was in an Assassin's Creed game. Not gonna lie, I think I had a bit of a man crush on this dude. This Haytham Kenway. The man. However, Assassin's Creed 3, technologically speaking, what's not great about it? Bugs. I don't mean insects, I mean programming bugs. There are a lot of them in this game. It could be little things like when my character knocked on a door, it showed a close-up of his arm and it was a red coat, and I'm like, my guy is not a red coat. Nor is he wearing a coat that is remotely red, so why was that a red coat? Then there are other bugs like it's hard to pick items up that shouldn't be too hard to pick up. Another example is one character was talking to me and his mouth wasn't moving. He was just like, all right, so are you ready to move out? We're gonna go go there, we're gonna kill these people. I mean, a couple of these glitches in a game like this, I would understand that, but enough happened in this game to where it's apparently worth addressing in my video. Just like these little frustrations that are in the game where you're like, why is it bugged? What game developers apparently don't realize is the seed of doubt that bugs plant in the player's brain. Because then I'll be going, I'm not wanted, I'm totally incognito, I walk by some redcoats and they flip out on me to start kicking my ass. Then I think to myself, well, did I do something to make that happen, or is that just another game bug? I mean, if there were no game bugs in the game, I'd be like, oh yeah, my character has dark skin, this colonial America, so they're gonna kick my ass. Racist NPCs, my mind would go there. But since I saw glitches and bugs in the game, I now have to think to myself, was that a bug? Really takes you out of the experience, man, I'm just saying. However, I felt like the last 5-10% of this game was just like, oh, wrapped up, end. I really think they ran out of time and they wanted to get this game out by the holiday season, so they're like, come on, wrap it up, wrap up the story, wrap up everything. There are still glitches and bugs in the game, doesn't matter, the holiday season sticks around for nobody, wrap the game up. So some of the glitches and bugs weren't worked out and the game just ended. And by and large, does it have an unfulfilling ending? If you haven't heard by now, people are kind of pissed about the ending. Short version is, yeah, it's a bit of an unfulfilling ending. Now, if you remember, I made a video about the Mass Effect 3 ending, and I don't want to be known as the guy that just bitches about video game endings on the internet. However, I do have a few things to say about the Assassin's Creed 3 ending. So if you want to hear a video about the ending, I will make a video about the Assassin's Creed 3 ending. I actually don't think Assassin's Creed 3 is going to be the last Assassin's Creed game that happens, but it is the last in this story arc. And if you're looking for a fulfilling ending for this story arc, they should have done a little more. Even among some of the bugs and the unfulfilling ending, Assassin's Creed 3 still has a badass character, awesome gameplay, a shit ton of missions to keep you entertained for days and days and days, a badass combat system, fun naval combat, and an awesome multiplayer. I will say it's still worth buying at full price. I did, and I don't regret it. There's a lot to do in it. It's fun. All right, so what is your favorite Assassin's Creed game, and would you like to see me do a video all about the ending in Assassin's Creed 3 and kind of what I think about it? So, whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.